Sophie Sheldon, and I tweeted about it. She was playing so reckless. I'm fine with players playing aggressive, but there is a thin line between playing aggressive and playing reckless. When you dive for a ball, you don't land on somebody's leg. She landed on top of Sydney Colson's leg, and her leg got stuck and literally twisted around. Both injuries, both Sydney Colson and Sophie Cunningham, were contact injuries. We're chanting, Sophie, Sophie. Sophie's jersey is going to sell out tonight. She's going to be in the All-Star game tonight just from this one play because she was standing on business. It wasn't a dirty play. It was an intentional foul, and it was meant to send a message. It turned into a scuffle, and I don't think anybody...
When Sophie Cunningham checked into the game, she didn't lace up just a hoop. She suited up like a bodyguard on presidential duty. Caitlin Clark didn't need a teammate that night. She needed a wall. And Sophie delivered. While the game itself was tense, the real storyline ignited the moment Sophie decided enough was enough. It wasn't just basketball anymore, it was war. And Sophie made sure every WNBA bully knew Caitlin Clark was no longer an open target. She didn't show up for points or stats. She showed up for protection, and the message was crystal clear. If you touch Caitlin, you're dealing with Sophie. It started subtly, with J.C. Sheldon playing aggressive. Too aggressive. An eye poke here, an elbow there, and suddenly Tina Charles and Marina Mabrey piled on, treating Caitlin Clark like a tackling dummy. What happened next? Absolute bedlam. Sophie Cunningham came in like she was shot out of a cannon. No hesitation. One moment she was on the court, the next she was dishing out justice. She didn't just retaliate, she imposed consequences. And just like that, the WNBA had its most explosive moment of the season.
The announcers here are saying, of course, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected because that was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should be a flagrant one, of course, on J.C. Sheldon because she swiped her and hit her in the eyeball. Whether it is intentional or not, you can still have a flagrant a flagrant foul called on you, whether you are trying to intentionally hurt somebody or not.
Sophie didn't move like a teammate. She moved like a bouncer outside a VIP club. Elbow Clark. Boom. Sophie appears from thin air. Bump her post whistle. Congratulations. You've activated the wrath of a woman who's apparently been training with the Navy SEALs. Her presence alone shut down nonsense before it could even escalate. And when it did escalate, well, Sophie Cunningham handled it. No fouls were hard enough, no warnings loud enough. If the refs weren't going to protect Caitlin, Sophie would do it herself.
It was, to me, payback for what was happening the entire game. But she did it in a way that she wasn't going to injure JC. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it. We'll take care of it, but this is not what you're going to do when you come into our house. It was an intentional foul. It was a hard foul. She brought her down. But with that, you guys, JC Sheldon got up and she was ready to go. So as you guys can see in this video, a whole scuffle breaks out. Sophie and JC are going after it. Both teams are running over, trying to break it up. It kind of goes into the fan section a little bit.
As soon as the dust settled, the internet exploded. Clips of Sophie going full Terminator flooded timelines. The basketball world wasn't just talking, they were shouting. Cunningham didn't just trend, she set the internet on fire. And it wasn't just fans, analysts, players, former legends, they all chimed in. Whether you loved it or hated it, one thing was undeniable. Sophie had shaken the league's snow globe. Everything was unsettled, and no one would view the fever the same way again. Here's where things went sideways. After all that chaos, the league's official call, a couple technicals and a flagrant one. No ejections, no suspensions. Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye, bodied to the floor, and somehow walked away with a technical foul. Marina Mabrey, still in the game. The referees didn't just miss, they failed. Big time. This wasn't just a missed call, it was a betrayal of the league's integrity. And Sophie made sure to send a message loud enough to drown out the whistle silence.
Trailing by 10, keep an eye on her and J.C. Sheldon. Clark trying to back her down.
Clark is okay.
Sheldon, that was Clark, hitting her in the face. Clark is upset about that. Then everybody's upset about that. Marina Mabrey comes in. She decks Clark, tempers flaring on both sides.
Back in the locker room, Sophie Cunningham didn't wait for a post-game press conference. She broke her silence before the game even ended, posting on social media like a war general declaring victory. Her message was simple: enough is enough. She wasn't backing down, and neither was this team. The Fever had found its voice in Sophie, and the league had better start listening. Because this wasn't just protection, it was retaliation wrapped in principle. Let's call it what it is. Caitlin Clark didn't enter a league, she entered a battlefield. Every team, every player seemed out for blood. But instead of melting under pressure, Clark rose. She kept shooting, kept passing, kept scoring, all while being hunted like it was open season. But with Sophie now anchoring the defense and the energy, things have changed. The Fever aren't just another team, they're a unit with a mission. And Caitlin's no longer alone out there. The scuffle wasn't a coincidence. It was a symptom, a boiling point. JC Sheldon drove, Sophie stood her ground, and in that instant, chaos erupted again. But even as arms flailed and tempers rose, Sophie never blinked. She held her own like a seasoned fighter in an arena full of noise. She could have thrown punches. Instead, she made a statement without saying a word. Her message: this isn't going to keep happening, not under her watch. Let's be clear, this isn't about stats or accolades. Sophie Cunningham has officially taken on a new role. Enforcer, sheriff, bodyguard, call it what you want. What matters is that she's now the symbol of accountability in a league that sorely lacks it. You can chirp, you can cheap shot, but now you'll think twice. Because if Caitlin Clark is the heart of this team, Sophie Cunningham is the fist, and she's not pulling punches.
That Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are the best gift that the WNBA has ever had. I mean, and the fans that show up and pack that place, I mean, sell out crowds every time Caitlin Clark plays. It's so great for Indiana, but it's good for the WNBA. But how dare you accuse our fans, the Hoosiers that show up at these games, being racist when they're not? I mean, that was just a opposing player who hates Caitlin Clark. Frankly, it's a great rivalry for the teams and for the sport. But don't accuse our fans of being racist. I mean, that's the kind of garbage that gets thrown around all the time. It wasn't true. The investigation proved it, and there was no outcome of it. There was no apology. Apologize to the fans. I mean, that's a simple thing to do, and I wish the team would have been more emphatic about that. Stand up, stick up for your fan base. I mean, that's who's keeping you alive. So maybe they'll still do that. I don't know. I mean, I tweeted that Angel Reese should apologize, and my tweet got a lot of reactions, but
with every
I'm not going to hold my...
Sophie is building a case, and the league is dangerously close to a reckoning. If things don't change, if the refs don't step up, Sophie will. Every single time. She doesn't care about fines, image, or approval. She cares about one thing: sending a message that the days of silent suffering are over. The Fever aren't just here to play. They're here to win, protect, and dominate. Step to Caitlin again, and Sophie will make sure you regret it. If you're loving this kind of energy, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel She Can Hoop Too, where real stories meet real fire. And don't forget, drop Enforcer Sophie in the comments if you ride with the new queen of WNBA defense.